What is Facebook up to?
Well, you know, if Google had this quirky IPO, you know, in 2004 where they had an electronic auction, it didn't go so well, but they made a point of like, we want to challenge the system, we're different. Facebook is going in a completely different direction. This is a Wall Street classic underwriting. They're hiring most of the firms on Wall Street, and they're lining up big credit lines. And you know, if you read the coverage of Facebook, they're basically saying we want to be like GE. We are a big established company, and we're going to act like a corporate, you know, one of the corporate establishment. You know, which kind of goes against the thing of, well, how lasting a business is this? So I think part of it is to send a message that these guys are here to stay.
So they don't want to be lumped in with all the other internet IPOs that you look at. You say, how are they making money here? Or what is this about?
Exactly.
They want to separate themselves
And I think
out.
they want to, you know, also have this be a non-event for them in terms of their doing business, making progress, developing their model, building out their ad model to bring in more revenue from users and people who want to communicate with the users. So, you know, I think the real message is we want to do this in a completely conventional way. They have 10 minority and women-owned firms, and so they're basically going, you know, IPO 101.
And what did they also, in this amended filing that they made yesterday, did they say something else about their revenues or how that breaks down geographically?
There's a process they go through with the SEC where the SEC will ask them, you know, 75 questions about, tell us more about your users here. And so they gave more geographical detail, and you know, you can expect them to, normally companies go through 2 or 3 or 4 iterations of this. Groupon really had problems because they had to change the way they calculate revenue. I don't think people don't think Facebook is going to have those kind of issues, but they have to go through the process, answer all the SEC's questions, and sometimes get on the phone with the SEC and wrangle out the last few items.
And
Right.
where are we in the process? And what does this mean?
Well,
what does this mean about when we're...
The month we keep hearing is May, but they rolled out this first set of answers fairly quickly. They filed their first S1 February 1st. Normally the SEC takes up to a month to ask questions, but they basically got the answers out, you know, within about a week or 10 days of the SEC's first set of questions, which are always the longest set. Now you don't answer everything the first go through, but the other thing they did was arrange a bigger credit line so they can not only have money for acquisitions but also pay taxes due on some of these employee stock units that vest late in the year.
And I mean, people, I presume, are going to be very eager, obviously have been very eager for this IPO. If you add 20 plus firms to the underwriters you already have, does that make the sale and the distribution of the stock when they do come public easier, or was it, in this case, not really necessary?
It definitely wasn't necessary. I think they just want to do the standard Wall Street stuff and you know, not make any enemies that they don't need to as they go through. Yeah, they could have sold.
Let as many firms as possible have a piece of this.
They could have sold this without any underwriters because they're already in touch with a lot of mutual funds already own the stock. They're in touch with pension funds and money managers. They could have just made a couple of phone calls on the day and sold it to 20 people. But I think their existing holders, they already have a bunch of mutual funds, wanted them to do a full, robust IPO where there'd be a good market for the stock afterwards. There'll be plenty of sellers, there'll be plenty of stock trading in the market. So I don't think they want this to be anything other than something that will get them out there into the market like they know they have to do.
Yeah, and the last thing is, you know, there's a notion about the employees and how much the employees are going to get. You know, in your experience, when some of these big IPOs come, does it change the nature of the workforce? All of a sudden you're going to have a lot of people who are able to sort of monetize their perceived wealth. Should we look forward to maybe some people deciding to do something else with their lives and some turnover? What's been the experience in some of these other big IPOs?
I think you can expect that. And one thing they did with some of the employee compensation, unlike other companies that offer options or straight stock, they did offer these restricted stock units that where the employees don't actually get the stock until 6 months after the IPO. And some people have told me that was part of their plan to put off an IPO as long as possible because they wanted to operate, you know, without quite as much public scrutiny.